Big up, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Sports Centric. Today we're going to talk about the first wrestler that I chose, and it's going to be Lee T. Anoy, better known as Roman Reigns. And we're going to talk about how he was a undrafted football player in 2008 for the Jackson Jaguars, and how he established himself as Leaky in FCW before joining WWE in 2010 in a developmental stage. And from them times, he joined NXT in 2012, where, let me just get this right. Give me 2 seconds. It's technical difficulties again. You know how it works. Sorry, guys. If I can hopefully see some of these pictures come up. In 2010, and in 2012, he made his NXT debut where he fought against CJ Parker. And CJ Parker, if everyone knows who CJ Parker is the wrestler known as Juice Robinson, who is now in AEW. And in this match, if you watch it back on YouTube and you watch it back, they can actually see that at that time there was talk of Roman Reigns being a massive superstar. And from that, a few months later, he made his debut on Monday Night Raw alongside two more developmental talents, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, to create The Shield. The Shield's first night on Raw, they brutally attacked Ryback and essentially put him through the announce table using a 3-man powerbomb, which became their special move, or their finishing move as a trio. For 2 years, the Shield ran dominant until Seth Rollins turned his back on both Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns and joined the Authority, which was Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. After the run with the Shield, and like I said, they had numerous rivalries in the Shield days. You had them fighting the likes of the Wyatt family, which is Bray Wyatt, Eric Rowan, and the late come on, get in my head. Brody Lee. Brody Lee. And like I said, you could always see from Roman Reigns' early days here that he was going to be a superstar. And from the days in NXT, he had his ooh-ah, he had his trademark Superman punch, and he had his spear. And from them times there, he then became a singles wrestler in 2014 after the Shield disbanded. He won his first Rumble in 2015. And 2015 was also the first year that he first won his first WWE Championship, beating Dean Ambrose in an hellacious match in which Dean Ambrose was going for a corner splash and Roman Reigns hit him with a spear as he was incoming, therefore assuming that Roman Reigns won his first WWE Championship. From that rivalry with Dean Ambrose and that match, he then went into a bit of a rivalry with Sheamus and his United Nations group, which consisted of Alberto Del Rio, Rusev, and Cesaro, losing the title to Sheamus, then winning it back in a career versus title match in December 14th of 2015. In 2016, after his rivalry with Sheamus, he started a personal rivalry with the Authority, Vince McMahon at the beginning, and then later on Triple H. Triple H won the title from Roman Reigns in a all-against-one Royal Rumble. And Roman Reigns then picked up his third WWE Championship by beating Triple H at WrestleMania. 32 after spearing Stephanie. And again, when you look at Roman Reigns' first run in the company, you can't help but feel that they tried to make him seem like he was his cousin, The Rock, in the fact that they tried to make him into a people's champion. But this wasn't Roman Reigns as a character. And here's another thing I really find frustrating, especially in WWE wrestling, is that when a star becomes the WWE Championship, I really find it difficult for them to go down to the Intercontinental Championship because it's a massive step down. The Intercontinental Championship should be a stepping stone for wrestlers to then build themselves as a main eventer and go on to win the WWE Championship, not the other way around. I don't remember wrestlers like Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock winning the Intercontinental Championship after they've won the WWE Championship because it's just unheard of. But yet, today's wrestlers, you'll see the likes of Seth Rollins win the championship, the likes of Sheamus win a championship and then win the second title. It's even happened this week when you look at Tiffany Stratton, who's become the women's champion on SmackDown, only then to lose that belt to Jade Cargill and now to claim the women's United States Championship. To me, you never step down in life; you always step up. But nevertheless, Roman Reigns won his first Intercontinental Championship against The Miz with the reunited Shield behind him. But during that time, he was also fighting cancer, and we had a lockdown where people who are vulnerable basically had to step away from what profession they were, and because of the cancer and him being in a case of still being vulnerable with his antibodies, he had to step away from the WWE for a while, which is fully understandable because his cancer is in remission. Now, like I said, in 2018, he won his first Universal Championship against Brock Lesnar. But once he stepped away from the COVID, he came back in 2020 to reclaim the WWE Championship, but he came back as the head of the table, a brand new Roman Reigns, one where he could now be himself and step out of the limelight of his cousin, The Rock. And from that moment, you can actually see that he actually enjoyed wrestling again. Because like I said, it was mostly him. It was his storyline, his creation, the head of the table. He then joined forces with Jey Uso, who was his first rival for the WWE Championship, and had a good title run until Jimmy Uso returned from injury. And then Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso united to stamp a dominance over the tag team division, while Roman Reigns reigned supreme as the champion on Friday Night SmackDown. Like I said, through all these years, he's had a massive, massive rivalry with Brock Lesnar. And it culminated at WrestleMania 4, at WrestleMania. Sorry about this. It culminated at WrestleMania where he beat Brock Lesnar to become both the Universal Champion and the WWE Champion. If you can see all this. So slow today. Sorry about this. We will try and be as quick as possible. Technical difficulties. What can we say? Right. And it was unprecedented that he went to WrestleMania and basically won both the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship. Having both titles meant that Roman Reigns was basically the champion of both shows, both Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. During that time, that work schedule became too heavy for him. And because of the minimal time he had on Raw created a brand new championship called the World Heavyweight Championship. And essentially, Seth Rollins became the first champion. Now, for me, I don't like that precedent in the fact that when you're going to be to be the man, as Ric Flair used to say, to be the man, you must beat the man. And because Seth Rollins never beat Roman Reigns, I never really looked at that championship and recognized it for what it is. Because, like I say, to be the man, you have to beat the man. And nobody beat Roman Reigns to get the championship. So therefore, how can you be champion or world heavyweight champion when you've never beat the WWE Universal Champion? But from there, Roman Reigns set a precedence of 1,310 days as champion, which is only beaten by Bruno Sammartino and Hulk Hogan. And as you can see, he's a massive family man in the fact that he brought in not only Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso to their bloodline, but he also brought in Solo Sikoa as his backup henchman. And Solo Sikoa has now gone on to make his own faction, which is the MFTs, which is My Family Tree. And then you've got Paul Heyman, brilliant story of Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns as the wise man. When you think of how Roman Reigns left after the initial COVID, came back, and the story, and with the Fiend having won the championship, Roman Reigns joined forces with Paul Heyman, a person that he's had a rivalry with, alongside Brock Lesnar, as his wise man and his commander-in-chief. And then with the faction behind him, and 4 years of absolute dominance, there was a question of maybe Roman Reigns' title reign was getting a bit stale. During his title run of 1,000 days, with over 1,000 days, he had different rivalries, the likes of Edge, John Cena, Kevin Owens, and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 39. Now, WrestleMania 39, I was glad Roman Reigns won. On a personal level, I was glad Roman Reigns beat Cody Rhodes. But WrestleMania 40 made up for it in the fact that Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns for the title. And with the help of Seth Rollins. Now, what I do like is the continuation of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins' personal rivalry. And this has been going on since 2014, where Seth Rollins turned his back on Roman Reigns and hit him with the chair shot. So the continuity in the storylines here are still present even 12 years after the event. And for that alone, you have to commend WWE for long-term booking and viewing when it comes to Roman Reigns. But like I said, how much of it is based on Roman Reigns as an artist himself? How much of creative control did he have in what was going on with him? And to think that WrestleMania 40 was 2 years ago, because we just had WrestleMania 42. WrestleMania 41, we finally had CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. And in this match, Paul Heyman showed his true colors by turning on CM Punk, first of all, giving Roman Reigns a chair. Roman Reigns then turned onto the chair onto CM Punk, only for Paul Heyman to turn around and low blow Roman Reigns, costing him the match as Seth Rollins picked up the pin. Paul Heyman then joined Seth Rollins and created the faction called Division with Braun Breaker and Jonah. And later on, you have the likes of Austin Theory and Logan Paul joining that faction later. If I can get these pictures up, that would be so much better. Unfortunately, it's a bit slow today. That's the Wi-Fi for you. And yeah, we're going to talk about, as we go further into it, Roman Reigns for the last few years has been establishing himself back again to be a main event player. And during that run, he's come back, he's had his rivalry with Solo Sikoa, claiming back claiming back his dominance as the head of the table and the ruler Fala. And even getting the blessing of The Rock, who we did get to see at WrestleMania 40. And during that time, he's bigged up the likes of The Vision, like I say, the likes of Braun Breaker, the likes of Jonah have actually had success or modicum of success because of their rivalry with Roman Reigns. And so he's put them over, essentially bringing up new talent, which is, I always commend that from a established star, is to promote the new talent that's coming along. And that's what Roman Reigns has been doing for the last 2 years. But WrestleMania, Royal Rumble this year in Saudi Arabia, Roman Reigns won his second Royal Rumble, eliminating Gunther to set up a match against CM Punk. What was hidden was the fact that in 2014, CM Punk did a podcast in which he basically ripped Roman Reigns for his mic skills. Now, anyone who's watched Roman Reigns for the last few years has realized that Roman Reigns has done a lot of work behind the scenes on his mic skills, because now he can drop some of the best promos in the industry. And so this rivalry was years in the making. And after an hellacious 30-minute match in which it could have gone either way, there was multiple incidents where CM Punk and Roman Reigns went for announce tables, and Roman Reigns hit multiple spears. CM Punk hit a go to sleep. CM Punk also did a CM Punk elbow from the top rope through the announce table. Roman Reigns came out on top to finally claim back the World Heavyweight Championship. And so it's gone. So for the last 2010, for the last 16 years, Roman Reigns has not only broken out the shadow of his cousin The Rock when it comes to WWE and his performances, but established himself as his own mainstream star. But not just in the ring. Roman Reigns has now also gone outside of the ring. And he's also starred not just in TV roles, but in movie roles as well. Movie roles such as the upcoming Street Fighter, which we're going to talk about on BMGT as Akuma. The likes of Hobbs and Shaw, which is the Fast and the Furious franchise, and the likes of Zootopia 2. So Roman Reigns has not only made himself a name in the WWE, but made himself a name outside of the WWE. And for that, I can only say, he is my tribal chief. And thank you very much for tuning in, because I'm going to end it there. So thank you very much for tuning in today. And any questions? Actually, you know what? I'm going to change it up today. In the aspect of, I want you to give me what you think of what Roman Reigns has done to establish himself over the years. What matches that you remember or from Roman Reigns here that have really caught your attention? What stands with you when it comes to Roman Reigns? Because for me, yeah, if you can see my hoodie, because my top's a bit thin, I want you to tell me what you think of Roman Reigns. What do you think of him as a credible superstar these days? What do you think has made him stand out? Because like I said, he's had multiple rivalries over the years, from the likes of Baron Corbin and the dog food, which wasn't very nice to watch, the likes of his rivalry with Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Chris Jericho, The Miz. The list goes on. Which one do you think was the most pivotal in his career? Or would it be someone like Kevin Owens? Leave your answers in the comment section, because I'm very interested to find out what you think of Roman Reigns. And with that, I'm going to say thank you very much. Farewell, adieu, and we'll see you next time on Sports Centric. Bless. Oh, come on. Don't do this. Whoopsie. Oops.